by the Emirates Melbourne Cup Tour, riding down the straight and delivering the People's Cup back to Flemington. Please welcome Kelly Smith from Croydon in Queensland. Kelly will now hand the 2017 Emirates Melbourne Cup to Phil Alice from Santa Teresa in the Northern Territory. And now Phil will pass the cup to 6-year-old Max Gould from Kyabram in Victoria. It's Max's turn. He'll step forward to present the 2017 Emirates Melbourne Cup to the chairman of the Victoria Racing Club, Amanda Elliott.
Here's this year's Melbourne Cup.
Thank you, Max. You brought that very beautifully in. You've come from Kyabram? Yes?
Yeah.
Will you remember this moment for a long time?
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing the 2017 Emirates Melbourne Cup to the Mounting Yard.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty. Page, let every state advance Australia fair in joyful strains, then let us sing advance Australia
Massive crowd here at Flemington. 20 minutes out from the running of the 157th Emirates Melbourne Cup. Hayley Moore with me. Hayley, this build-up gets you every time.
Yeah, it does. It really is so emotional. And just listening as well to Ian Jardine, it's a good point. It's very different for the international horses coming over here. They're not used to the setup, so it'll be really interesting to see how they cope with these really exciting preliminaries.
We've had this extraordinary situation with Joe Moreira being involved in a fall earlier today. He can't ride Thomas Hobson. Young 18-year-old apprentice Ben Allen's picked up the ride for Willie Mullins.
Yeah, this is a massive opportunity for him, and he will need to be brave out there. This is a horse that will need to be switched off early, hence the fact the Connections were so happy to secure such a experienced jockey in Joe Moreira. But look, I'm sure that this young lad is going to take every opportunity he's been given today and give it a great ride.
As we have a look at this massive crowd around the mounting yard, the horses are just entering the yard for the Emirates Melbourne Cup. It's now time for a market update.
This market update is brought to you by Bet365.
Yeah, good on you, Shane. Well, at Bet365, the boys are saying clearly the best-backed runner here is Marmello. Of course, he finished a fast-finishing 6 in the Caulfield Cup. He's ridden by Hugh Bowman, who's already got the Cox Plate under his belt this spring, and he's looking to get the Melbourne Cup, his first Melbourne Cup for Hughie Bowman. And Marmello, as we'll get the odds up on the screen for you now, opened up at around the $9.50 mark and in now as low as $7.50 at Bet365. You can see our Mandan has been heavily supported as well. $7.50 originally, but got out to $10 during since the barrier draw. Now back into $7.50. Good push for last year's winner, Al Mandan. Now let's get down now. Humidor here, $10 out to $12. Back in, as you can see on your screen, into $11. A little bit of money for the horse that almost upset the Fairy Tale of Winks in the Cox Plate. Wall of Fire's been nice and solid, 12 into 11. There's been a real good push today for Johannes Vermeer. It was a little bit unlucky in the Caulfield Cup. He was even unluckier the week before in the Caulfield Stakes. Punters saying he can go bet it again here today and get the cash. $12 or $13 at one point in betting, now into $11. So good push there for Johannes Vermeer. I know it says on your screen 10 to $12, but there's been a lot of money at Bet365 for this runner. Rekindling, he's having his first start here in Australia. Of course, he's joined the Lloyd Williams team. He's got genuine Group 1 form over in Europe, and he's been well supported since the barrier draw on Saturday night, specking here and there for him. He's just getting out a fraction now today from $14 out to $15. Single Gaze, well, she is an absolute ripper. No one thought that she could stick it out in a Caulfield Cup, but she did. She got up there for third, or second, I should say. She's touched $41, now into $31, and a lot of bookies saying that she could be their worst result for them. So good support there for the Nick Olive trained galloper. No doubt the capital of Australia, Canberra, will be cheering for her. But the best push I can give you is Marmello. Don't forget, if you take any of those prices you see on your screen, punter, and your horse starts longer, you will get the longer price. Alternatively, if the horse firms up, you'll still get that original price. Basically, you'll get the best of the two prices. That's the official price guarantee, courtesy of Bet365.
This Racing.com mounting yard is proudly brought to you by Magic Millions.
The horses are in the yard for the Emirates Melbourne Cup, the 157th running of the race that stops a nation, with a staggering $6 million and trophies of $250,000 in offer. As we have a look at horse number 1, Hartnell, who ran third in the race last year for James Cummings and Damien Lane.
Yeah, Cummings' name synonymous with success in this race, and Godolphin dearly loved to win it. Look, I thought it was very brave last year. It had excuses last start. I think obviously stays well, but the weight will sort of slow him down and make it difficult.
2 was our Mandan, the defending champion for Robert Hickmont, who's had 2 wins in the race. Team Williams, Lloyd Williams, of course, 5 wins in the race as the owner. To be ridden by Frankie Dettori, twice a runner-up. He's chasing his first Emirates Melbourne Cup.
Terrific battling win last start, and overall the form this prep's been terrific, particularly the win in the JRA Trophy.
Jane, how does the defending champion look?
Well, he looks fantastic. He's got lots of attributes that you want to see in a horse running 3,200 metres. Plenty of athleticism, length across his back. He certainly strips fit, and he's shown a few characteristics that he did before he won here 2 starts back. He's getting a little bit impatient, stomping his feet, so I think that's a really good sign.
3 is Humidor, the Cox Plate runner-up, one of 3 runners for Melbourne Cup winning trainer Darren Weir, to be ridden by Blake Shin, who of course is a Melbourne Cup winning jockey.
Yeah, the 2 mile up the query, but with the right stable, terrific run behind Winks, and if Humidor can stay the trip, has to be right on the shortlist.
Physically, I think he's coping with his preparation. He's certainly holding his condition, and I think he's absolutely reached his peak fitness. His mannerisms, on the other hand, he does tend to get a bit warm and a bit on his toe on race day. Considering the occasion today, I think this is probably as good as he can be.
French trainer Alain Coutil saddles up number 4 Tiberian with superstar rider Olivier Pellier to take the mount.
Yeah, this horse's form couldn't have taken a bigger boosting this week with Talismanic winning over at Del Mar. He's one of the leading European challengers here with great form in the book, but I think it's a tough task off a big weight.
5 is Marmello, heavily backed. 8's now into $7 Victorian official price for Huey Morrison and Hugh Bowman.
Again, this is a horse who's got some proper solid group form coming into this, and we know that he's travelled over well with that impressive run at Caulfield. I think that he's going to be a leading contender today for Huey Morrison.
I really like the improvement that this horse has made since I saw him at Caulfield. He had a little bit of improvement in him, and he certainly progressed the right way. He's quite an impressive looking horse. He's really an absolute out and out staying type, and there's something quite regal about it, the way he holds himself in the yard.
Andreas Fahler, a Melbourne Cup winning trainer in 2014, saddles up number 6 Red Cardinal to be ridden by 2-time Melbourne Cup winning jockey Kieran McAvoy.
Beaten on his last start behind Marmello, so he'll have to return the form today. And Andreas Willer just doesn't seem to give you off the same vibes that this is another protectionist, and he's got a wide draw to overcome. I think he's got a tough task ahead of him.
Aidan O'Brien is a legend of world racing. He saddles up number 7 Johannes Vermeer to be ridden by Ben Mellon.
The question mark is whether or not he'll stay. I think that he will. He's contended over stiff tracks over in Europe. He's a horse that seems to have thrived since he's been racing over here, and he's come out of his last very good run in the Caulfield Cup particularly well.
I was impressed when I first saw this horse. He's a really nice individual. He's good looking. He doesn't lack for any strength. I'm impressed by how strong he is in front of the saddle. He's another one that's certainly headed the right way since we saw him in the Caulfield Cup. He looks fantastic today.
Michael Walker has the ride on number 8 Bondi Beach for Robert Hickmont and Team Williams.
Yeah, ran the Cup last year, well held there, and I don't think either run back this preparation's really set the world alight, so we'll need to lift on what we've seen this preparation.
Max Dynamite, one of 3 runners saddled up by Willie Mullins. He was runner-up in the Melbourne Cup in 2015. He'll be ridden by Zach Purton.
A lower weight this year as well, which is exciting. And Willie Mullins has placed this horse beautifully coming into this race, and he looks as though he retains his turn of foot, even though he's been set back with injury. So there could be a big run here today from Max Dynamite.
Physically, he looks like he's in good order. He's really strong through the neck. He's really nice and relaxed, which is what you want to see from these horses before they run 3,200 metres. But his coat really isn't up to the same standard as some of these other runners. He's been clipped and he is starting to have a bit of a sweat.
David Hayes won a Melbourne Cup in '94 with Jearn. He's now in partnership with his son Ben and his nephew Tom Dabinick. The first of 2 runners is number 10 Ventura Storm, to be ridden by 3-time Emirates Melbourne Cup winning jockey Glenn Boss.
Yeah, so plenty of success there. And Ventura Storm, if Ventura Storm could turn up that ran in the Turnbull today, then you're going to see a big run. I'm willing to forgive the Caulfield Cup run. Probably all didn't work out there. There was an issue, so expecting Ventura Storm to be a lot better chance here.
The 12 is Wicklow Brave, the second of the Willie Mullins runners. Stephen Baster takes the ride.
Yeah, he's been contending in some of the leading races around Europe. He's been very consistent all year round and running some good placed efforts. He's getting on a bit, but he seems to have run well last time out at Caulfield, so he could be in your top 10.
The second of the Darren Weir runners is the 13 Big Duke, to be ridden by Brenton Abdallah.
Bit of a muddling run race in the Moonee Valley Cup. Won the St Leger prior to that at Randwick. Stays well, big field suit and a strong tempo.
Really well conditioned for this race. I thought it was the best I'd seen him when he stepped out at Moonee Valley last start, and he's continued to progress really nicely. He's certainly hard fit. He's got some great muscle definition, and he's very composed.
Outstanding young trainer Joseph O'Brien has 2 runners in the Emirates Melbourne Cup. The first is number 14 US Army Ranger, to be ridden by top-class international jockey Jamie Spencer.
Yeah, this is a horse, if he can turn up on the day and bring his best form to the table, he could be a winner, hands down. But unfortunately, he's a little bit hit and miss, but he's certainly got the ability. It's just whether or not he feels like it today.
The Caulfield Cup champion Boom Time, to be ridden by Corey Parrish for the Lindsay Park team.
Well, it seems a big price in the market if you're just putting faith in that Caulfield Cup win. Beat a lot of rivals today. He's tough. The 2 mile could be a touch of a query, but a horse clearly in great form.
He looks like a tough horse. He's got a great constitution. He's very robust, incredibly strong. He's probably a lot heavier than some of his rivals in the field today. He's looking brilliant in the coat, just glowing. Walks out beautifully, can't fault him.
2-time Group 1 winning jockey Michael D rides the Robert Hickmott trained Galante, another Team Williams runner.
Yeah, would have liked the heavens to open up, and that just hasn't occurred today. Will be a pace influence expected to go forward, but I did prefer others under these conditions.
Champion trainer Chris Wallace saddles up Liberan, who is part owned by the chairman of the Victoria Racing Club in Amanda Elliott, to be ridden by Dwayne Dunn.
Best of luck to Connections. I think Liberan, though, needs to go to another level to prove competitive today. Big price in the market, and rightly so.
The Pride of Scotland, number 18, Nikita, for Ian Jardine, with Glyn Schofield in the saddle.
This race could work out well for him this afternoon. He'll be coming through late on, no doubt, as long as he switches off early, but it was a good run in the Ebor. He's a tough little fella, and no doubt a Melbourne Cup is going to be right up his street.
Well, Hayley, you certainly got the little part right. There's not a lot to him. He's a horse that's actually quite light in the front, doesn't have much of a neck on him. He's quite a strong-bodied horse, but he is only small and quite packed. He's probably a runner that probably hasn't quite acclimatised. You can see he's still sort of got his winter coat, but he's very, very relaxed, which you like to see, and he is well conditioned despite his size.
The Pride of Canberra is number 19, Single Gaze, trained by Nick Olive, with Kathy O'Hara, the sole female jockey in the race.
Yeah, best of luck to Kathy as well, and great second to Boom Time, of course, in the Caulfield Cup. This horse just keeps turning up, tough, consistent, biggest test to date, but deserves a slot in the race.
Number 20 is Wall of Fire for Hugo Palmer, with Craig Williams, champion jockey, chasing his first Emirates Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, he's got the right man on board, because this is a horse that likes to make hard work of it, but the track here at Flemington is going to suit him. He's travelled over well, and no doubt he'll be passing plenty in the closing stages, but I just don't know if he's the most willing or straightforward of customers.
He's also another runner that doesn't have a lot of size about him. He's not overly tall, but he certainly doesn't lack any strength, particularly in front of the saddle. He's quite muscular through the neck. He's very bright today. He's got his ears and switched on.
The third Willie Mullins trained runner is number 21, Thomas Hobson, to be ridden by 18-year-old apprentice Ben Allen, replacing Joe Moreira.
Yeah, let's just hope that this young jockey is ready for a brave ride. If he can switch him off early and not rush him up there, he'll come with a good late run. It's just going to be important for him to relax in the early stages. But my word, this horse has got a good turn of foot. He's really tough. We saw that when he nearly pulled off the Royal Ascot double, and he comes into this in great form from his track work.
22 is Rekindling, the second Joseph O'Brien trained runners. Another runner here owned by Team Williams. Melbourne Cup winning jockey Corey Brown in the saddle.
I can't wait to see this horse step up to the Melbourne Cup distance. This is exactly the trip he wants. Obviously, being a young horse, he hasn't tried over it just yet, but he's off of a really nice low weight, and he's been mixing it in top class races, including a very competitive classic in the St Ledger at Doncaster back in Britain.
23 is Amelie Star for Darren Weir, the third of his runners in the race. Dean Yendall in the saddle.
If you can forgive the Caulfield Cup run, and you can, I don't think racing handy in that race probably suited Amelie Star, who was terrific winning the Bart Cummings. And I think you could see a horse bounce back for Darren Weir, of course, Dean Yendall on board.
She's a lovely mare. She's tall, she's athletic, she's lengthy. She is certainly hard fit. The dapples are out across her hindquarter. Given she has sort of had a few runs in this preparation, she's still looking really healthy and well. She can get a bit worked up on race day, but she's handling this parade ring today really, really nicely.
And number 24 is Sis Montaigne, trained by Melbourne Cup winning trainer of 2013, Gay Waterhouse, in partnership with Adrian Bott, to be ridden by 20-year-old apprentice Bo Mertens.
Yeah, best of luck to all as well, and one recently in the Lexus. Really dour, tough performance from Sis Montaigne, who's been spec'd in the market, and they are spec'ing those that will probably go forward and end up in that leading type role again. Very dour, but will be there for a long way.
Yeah, it's a wonderful field of 23 runners for the Emirates Melbourne Cup. Clint, give us your top four.
Well, I think the internationals hold the key this year. There's no doubt about that. But look, Marmello I'm with. We'll need some luck from that gate and probably a truly run test. But with any sort of luck, I think Marmello can get the job done. The overs for me, I think they're both, and I'd be happy to have something on each one of them. Max Dynamite and Johannes Vermeer will get a good run in the race, I think, back down towards the inside. And I think each of those represents a good value. And then our Mandan, last year's winner, has to be given strong claims as well. I've gone 5, 9, 7 and 2. Now the team tips, as far as the rest of the team here at racing.com are concerned, Shane is going with Marmello as well, the 5. We've got Ben Ascari with Marmello. Brent Zarafa is with Wall of Fire, and Matt Hill is with Al Mandan. Let's get Jane's top tip from the paddock.
I've decided to settle with Marmello on top here. This horse impressed me when I first saw him, and I thought he had improvement in him. He's taken the necessary improvement he needed to. There was something really regal about the way he parades. He sort of puts his head up and he has a really good look around. He's quite a self-assured horse, really nice and relaxed. So he's the one that I've got on top. Al Mandan, I could not fault him physically. I think the team have got him here in tremendous order, and he showed very similar characteristics to what he did when he won so impressively here 2 starts ago. So he's certainly ready to run a big race. And Wall of Fire, he's not a big horse, but he doesn't lack for any strength, and I thought he looked fantastic in the yard as well. But Marmello on top for me in the Melbourne Cup.
Jane Ivel's gone with Marmello as the pick of the yard for the Emirates Melbourne Cup. $6.25 million in prize money and trophies on offer. And the first prize, $3,600,000, including the overall Emirates Melbourne Cup trophy worth $200,000. It is the most prized possession in Australian racing. As we welcome in Clint Hutchison and Hayley Moore back to the conversation. Massive build-up, huge crowd here at Flemington as the horses make their way down to the start. Hutch, the build-up's been enormous. Are you still happy with having Marmello on top?
Yeah, well, got a good plug there from Jane as well. And you know how all these horses, Hayley, handle these preliminaries, like you mentioned. There's a lot of people here. There's a big buzz around. Can really get some of them wound up, can't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a huge relief just to see some of the horses behaving well, like Nikita. You know, he races in a hood. He's quite an individual that can get a bit lit up. So it's nice to see him parading really nicely. And also Marmello taking it all in. He really is a standout. I can see why Jane couldn't resist putting him on top.
Well, there's certainly plenty of value around Hartnell, and I'm joined by James Cummings, and he's an interesting runner in this field because you made the decision late to start him in the Melbourne Cup. What have you done with him since that Caulfield Stakes run?
Oh, look, we've treated him pretty normally. I've just given him the staying training that he needs to be fit for 2 miles. But the reality is, if he was here in a 1.5 mile race at Weight for Age, he'd be really, really top chance. We feel like he can run well, and he's certainly got the class to run a very strong race against these horses. You know, certainly we're trying something different, and we'd love to see him come with a
protectionist. Are you happy with how he is here today?
No, I'm really happy with him, and we just want to see how he gets the run round. That's the main key now.
He's drawn the outside barrier. How do you see the race unfolding for him?
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a fast run race, so he gets a slip in somewhere where he's happy, and from there on, yeah, we just want to see how he gets gaps or whatever. You need a bit of luck.
Are you confident?
So far, you have to be confident, but it's not an easy task.
Certainly not. Good luck.
Thank you.
Andreas Fahler there, who saddles up Red Cardinal. Might have a quick word to Darren Dance, who's in the ownership of Tiberian. Darren, how are the nerves? You went so close to the Melbourne Cup last year with Heartbreak City.
Yeah, I'm holding it together just for now, but yeah, we're just looking forward to the race so much.
Has everything gone to plan with him?
He's been 100% all the way through this horse. He travelled super. His work's been perfect. He hadn't missed a feed, so we'll have no excuses if we get beat.
I wish you well.
Thanks, Shane.
Darren Dance there from Australian Thoroughbred Bloodstock. Let's hear from Nick Olive quickly with the single gaze. Nick, star mare from Canberra. She's got nearly everyone in the Australian Capital Territory cheering her on.
Yeah, she has, Shane. A lot of people around Australia, to be honest, but couldn't be happier with her. It's all up to her now. You know, we're nice and relaxed, and she is too, ready to go.
Wish you well.
Thank you.
The horses are loading for the Emirates Melbourne Cup. Here's Matt Hill.